So last night we watched Alone with You. And this is about a woman who is dating another lady. And she has a rocky relationship with her. And one night while her girlfriend's out and about, she can't seem to get out of her house. And throughout that, some serious drama ensues, and then she's got some visions, and she's hearing stuff in the house. Now, while we were watching this, I should start off by saying that we both love this. This is though one of those films. I feel like there's one of these movies every year or less that I come across in the past before Kaylee was on the channel, when movies like Dry Blood or Head Count or Life Changer or something, they're these real low budget indie movies with cool ideas and executions, and then I'm really high on them, oh, I loved this, and then everyone goes and watches them and they're like, that was low budget trash. I thought the performances were mediocre at best. I thought that the camera work was amateur and all that. And I have a feeling this is gonna be one of those movies, but that doesn't negate the fact that I loved it, and I can't help but give an honest review here. So I don't want to lead anyone astray, but I also want this movie to get attention. I don't want it to be one of those movies that I get hit with after, what'd you make me watch? This is shit. Because I did that with Dry Blood. I did that with some of these movies, and friends of mine watch it and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is terrible. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? This is so cool. This is real indie filmmaking here to me. The lead actress is also, the co-writer, co-director, and I think they worked on other things as well. This is a real passion project, real small indie feel thing, and I think that they were super successful. Because Kaylee and I always talk about making a movie together. We always want to do that. And, it's movies like this that inspire me. When I watch films like this, where I'm thinking, all they really did is they took their limitations and they turned them into opportunity. They turned them into cleverness. They were like, well, how do we achieve what we want without a budget? How do, and they utilized the things that they had to their advantage. They had a really good actress. They had this, apartment setting. They had access to Barbara Crampton and Dora Madison, who are, better known actors in the horror industry, especially. And they used them as kind of bit players that were on the computer screen. So they probably got them to be, on set for a short amount of time. I mean, maybe even
actually it's on a video call.
Yeah, even during the pandemic, they were probably
that's what I thought of.
They're at home, they're on discount.
Yeah.
Well, I'll act in your movie as long as it's only on a screen.
But that's great though, because I feel things have changed so much with COVID and people staying indoors more, and to see movies that are kind of addressing that reality, even if it's not the focus of the film, using actors that might be in quarantine or at home or whatever, and using it in a creative way that it still makes sense in the story, I think is really cool. Because the world changes, right? And to see film and, other art follow that evolution is really exciting. But yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you, obviously, but it was a really, really cool movie. There was so much that I really loved about it. A lot of it was, obviously the main actress carries the whole film, but some of the visuals that they use are really unsettling and subtle, but in great way where it shows you just enough.
Great
You're
atmosphere.
like, what the fuck is that? The atmosphere is fantastic, and it's
Yes.
a limited set too. They're in just one location for most of the film. But it was still really compelling, and there wasn't a single point when we were watching it where I was bored or confused. Like, I was intrigued and wanting to figure out what was going on, and I had ideas, and the payoff too with what the ending was really satisfying for me.
Yeah.
So from start to finish, I thought it was great.
And another thing I think that, may not get enough credit here and praise here is the editing. I thought the editing was, probably the top three, like, saviors of the movie. Like, when you don't have a budget and you're trying to make things unsettling and you're trying to get this kind of creepy atmosphere through the visuals, there's really quick, interesting cuts going on the screen that really heighten the tension throughout. And I thought that they were really successful with those elements. I thought the sound design was really cool. Like, for a film that clearly had a limited budget, I was really, really impressed with pretty much everything. I honestly, I don't really have a knock towards the film. There's, like, what you want versus what you get isn't a critique, right? Like, there's certain things in the movie that towards the end, I was like, ooh, maybe they're gonna go this way with it. And I was like, ooh, I really like that. That's cool. It didn't go that way. But that didn't mean I was like, oh, well, now I don't like it because it didn't go the way I wanted to. It was like, no, they went this way with it. Okay. That's a little bit more obvious. And what I kind of expected. So there isn't this big, like, reveal, shocking thing to me, but it didn't matter because I thought the execution throughout was so good that I don't need some, like, big twist reveal to be like, knock me off my fucking feet. If it did, maybe it would elevate the film, but this is definitely, as of right now, obviously this will probably change, this is my favorite horror film of the year. Now, we're only in February, so it's a real short amount of time into the year, but I was super into this the entire time. Just from, like, moment one, 10 minutes in, I was like, okay, like, I'm feeling this, like, and there is very much, and this is probably why Kaylee loved it so much, we're definitely dealing heavily with an unreliable narrator and something that you're always questioning reality around you. And this is one of those, like, I had made a post on Facebook saying this is 1408 meets Rosemary's Baby. It's this, woman trapped in her apartment slowly coming undone. And just, it also had a lot of 1408 elements. I know that he's trapped in a room as well, but there's, like, voices coming from here, and there's people on a computer screen, and you can't really trust what you're seeing. And and 1408 is one of my favorite horror films ever. I've seen it in an insane amount of times, and it's one of my most watched movies ever. And it has that isolation, losing your mind kind of feel, and I'm always a big fan of that. And seeing new faces, seeing now, I am seeing familiar faces with Dora Madison from VFW and fucking Bliss and the other things that she made, Barbara Crampton from Reanimator, and so on and so forth. Yeah, you know those faces, but those are more of, like, I want to say cameo, but secondary characters. But the main girl, I've never seen her before, and it's always great to see young talent, especially when they're so involved with the production, being so successful, because it is very, inspiring to up and coming, wannabe filmmakers in the future. This is the kind of movie I watch where I go, well, fuck, like, they have the ability to do this, so why can't I, And I'm very thankful for that. So, you know, to the filmmakers on this for sure, like I very much am thankful for films like this because they make me want to get off my lazy ass and do something about it after all this talk for so long. But yeah, I mean, it's really just going to be down to if you're into lower budgeted indies that don't have that like super high quality Hollywood feel to them, because this doesn't. This has that indie feel. And then of course the like isolation, girl in the apartment, kind of coming undone, very Polanski-esque, Repulsion, Rosemary's Baby type feel. But I was very impressed. Highly recommended for anybody who meets that criteria of desire towards film. Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about it. I liked the music. I liked the sound design. I liked the editing choices. I liked where the story went. I liked all the creepy, subtle imagery. I loved the atmosphere. I was so into everything. And I really don't have any knocks on the film for what it is, and I'm sure what they had to work with. Top fucking notch, man.
Yeah. No, it was incredible. It was really good. And I mean, you always say everything that I'm thinking already, so I don't feel like I can add much.
I've been doing this a lot longer than
yeah,
you.
But it's like, I agree with you on all of that. So, and I definitely think it's worth people's time to check out. The isolation and the unreliable narrator is always a fan. I'm always a fan of it because it's the scariest, thing to me, is going crazy and being unable to trust, what you're seeing and experiencing.
Yeah.
And the movie was just super successful in capturing that experience.
It also creates such a level of empathy with the main character. I never felt like she was annoying or bothersome to me. Like I felt for this person the entire time. They really sold me on her character. She never overstayed her welcome or grated on my nerves. And when she was being overly, dramatic or this or that, I felt it and I understood why. And that can definitely be something that is a Rocky thing. It's one of those things when you make a movie like this that you run the risk of is a character grating on you.
Sure.
Yeah,
getting
if the performance isn't really good and it's the character's written in a certain way that you're like losing any kind of sympathy for them or attachment to them or connection with them or that just didn't ever happen for me. I can absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, see that happening. And we went on IMDb and looked at the reviews, and
they were just very different from how we felt.
Oh my goodness! Like some guy was like, "My wife fucking was so mad at me. Yeah, my wife divorced me after watching this movie
night.
because I ruined her fucking night." It was absurd. And then there's always the obligatory like 10-star reviews that you always have to wonder if it's like the filmmakers or the filmmakers' friends. But after I watch this, I mean, I'm fucking high. I'm super high on it.
I really, really like it a lot. I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely one I would buy, and it's definitely one I would watch again, 100%. So, anyways, let us know if you watch it. It is currently streaming on Amazon and Vudu and all those places for rent. I want to say it's like $5. I totally think it's worth it. Support indie horror. They did good with this one, so I'd love to see more from them, and I'll look in to see if they've done anything in the past. I don't think they have, but if they have, then I'll definitely check it out. Other than that, so let us know. Bye.